No fathoming the depths of my hatred for this place.
May, your father was appointed governor. We're like royalty here. Be happy and enjoy it.
Aren't you cold?
I've got a lot on my mind. It's been so long. Over 3 years since I was home. I wonder what's changed. I wonder how I've changed.
I just asked if you were cold. I didn't ask for your whole life story. Stop worrying.
Wrong!
Come on, Zuko. We all know that's a lie.
May! How did you know I was here?
Because I know you so well.
But how?
The warden's my uncle, you idiot.
Oh.
The truth is, I guess I don't know you. All I get is a letter. You could have at least looked me in the eye when you ripped out my heart.
I didn't mean to.
You didn't mean to? Dear May, I'm sorry that you have to find out this way, but I'm leaving.
Stop! This isn't about you. This is about the Fire Nation.
Thanks, Zuko. That makes me feel all better.
May, I never wanted to hurt you. But I have to do this to save my country.
Save it? You're betraying your country.
That's not how I see it.
It's okay. I was recovering from another one. Thing is, I just did Jason Douglas an hour earlier. So
oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
You're my second person today. But other than that, how's your day going?
I'm good. I just got out of work. I'm a therapist also, so this is the last thing of my day pretty much. So, we're in the home stretch.
This is why I kept telling y'all as VAs, y'all got other careers besides VAs. That's good.
I do. I mean, I didn't for a long time, but I do now. Yeah.
Well, you still made it work.
Yeah, I mean, while I was an actor, I was, just an actor. But now, around 40, I really wanted something more. I mean, there's things you just get bored. I mean, you can't really just do one thing, and so yeah. I think doing many things is, you have a lot to give.
Well, question, Cricket. I got a question for you. Are you happy?
Oh yeah. I don't do anything unless I'm happy.
Then that's all. Then that's what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with me. Like, I'm doing this. By the way, I did just graduate and finished my cybersecurity program back last Christmas.
Great.
So I'm trying to look for jobs while I'm still doing this.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
Exactly. Well, like I said, I always let the small talk go first before we get into it. Just,
of course,
all that stuff. I guess we can go ahead and get this started. So
sure.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Phil. I'm host of the Conversation Podcast, and I have a special guest today with me. You may recognize her as May from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Cricket Leigh. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you. My pleasure, Phil. Love repping Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's just my pleasure to be on with you.
Thanks. It's a little dark over here. It's kind of cloudy. It's cold too. So it's I'm on the eastern coast. I'm in Georgia.
Okay, I'm in the Midwest. It is sunny and really pretty. We got a good day today, so I will take it.
Lucky.
I got lucky. I know. I'll take it.
So now, before we get into it, I want to start a little bit of an icebreaker.
Sure.
Now, I got one question for you. Have you traveled across the globe before? What's one place that you really wanted to visit but you haven't gotten to yet?
Oh, I want to go to Greece really bad. I would love to go there. I have never been, and I just think it looks beautiful. I'm a huge classics fan, so I love authors like Euripides, and I love Shakespeare. I would just love to go there and see how they did the old classics. And I think I would love the weather and the blue water and the food. Like Greece is a place I need to go.
Yeah, I'm trying to like myself. I'm trying to go to Japan. I'm trying to go to
Oh yeah.
Singapore. I want to check out Singapore one of these days as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Olivia from our cast, who plays Ty Lee, she's done those countries and she has the most incredible stories about the food and where to go. And she has all the tips. So you're right. That needs to be on my list.
Yeah, there was another person that I did talk to. She was saying you need to go check out Vietnam.
Yes. And I think Olivia would say the same. Like she's been to all those countries and she travels by herself a lot of the time. She just goes. So that's incredible to just save your money and use it to travel. I think that's really smart.
Oh, that's what I'm doing now. I'm saving as much money as possible. Thing is, I've been paying off a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get my Capital One card back to normal. I'm almost done.
You better get it going.
So I'm almost done. I just got one more payment and I'm good to go.
Nice. Good job.
Just trying to improve my credit score.
Oh yeah, I know. You got to keep that credit score going because it is true. Without that, you are stuck. You are handicapped. You cannot do the things you want to do. Yep.
But it's a good thing because I sold off a lot of stuff. I sold some of the games that I don't play anymore. I sold like some of the gotcha games on my phone. Like I was just telling Jason about Dokkan Battle. Like I spent when they did the 10th anniversary for that game, I spent over $700.
Look, my stepkids, they are right there with you. They spend on these games, and I mean, even though I don't do it, I can kind of understand. So I can't judge you and your $700 because it's out there. This is what people do. This is something that interests them. And I liquidate stuff like clothing when I'm like, okay, I don't wear that anymore. It's the same thing you're doing with your games. So good job.
Yeah. Thing is, and I don't want that one franchise be taking up my room. As you see, I got Avengers, Sonic, Batman. I just got this Batman pop figure earlier this month. It was the one with the bat symbol. When I saw they dropped that on Instagram, I was like, what? I just got the Arkham City one. What?
You were like, great, now I have to spend more money.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I guess my Arkham collection isn't complete. So now that I got it, here's the thing. I pre-ordered it, and I was the first one to get the first copy.
Wow. That's cool.
It actually doesn't drop until tomorrow, actually. But since I pre-ordered it early, I got the first copy.
You got it, Phil.
But now that the ice has been broken, let's get into it. So I have 20 questions here, and I divide them up into sections so I can keep track. So section one is section one is going to have 4 questions. It's going to go by fast, trust me.
No problem.
So let's start with section 1, origins and foundation. Now, you started in theater at a young age. Now, what was the first moment you realized performing wasn't just something you loved, but something you needed to do?
As a young person?
Yeah.
I think I'd say singing. I mean, singing was my first love. Like I grew up with a single parent, and I would just like leave it, after dinner, and I'd walk around our apartment complex and I would just sing and make up songs. And it soothed me. I had anxiety as a kid, lots of anxiety. I still do, medicated. Amen. As a mental health professional and a person who understands mental health, as a kid with anxiety, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just thought I'm a little hyped up. But singing, it just like soothed me, calmed me down, singing songs, singing stuff I heard either at church or wherever. And so that was my first love. I felt the need to sing. And so the place I could think to do it was in plays and local plays, musicals like Annie or The Music Man or, community theater. So that's why I got involved. As like probably 10 and 11, because we didn't have school choir at that age. Right. We didn't have school choir till like 6th grade. And so I was like, well, the only place I think I can sing and I can perform and just be a goofball was in theater.
Well, hey, sometimes in that theater, you got to have that free mindset and just being, like in the zone, if I can say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like how you mentioned about the mental health in theater because I think, whatever you do is because you are a therapist now. And I
Yeah.
think, having like mental health and like doing like filming and acting classes that helps
Mm-hmm.
too because I know because lately and I know and I and the thing is I apologize for not coming up with any mental health questions right quick
Oh, do not
but
worry. That's fine.
but he mental health is an important issue today, not
Mm-hmm.
just in like regular stuff, like not just in acting, but everywhere you go, there's this stuff dealing with mental health. I actually did a documentary in college 3 years
Mm-hmm.
ago after I graduated college 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a documentary talking about mental health awareness because there's been a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who are committing suicides and everything. I'm gonna dive.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you something that happened in the fall of last year. I don't know if you saw it, but there was this cosplayer. Her name was Squid Kid.
Oh, yes, I know all
Yes,
about this. Yes.
yeah, she committed suicide because of the
Mhm.
racism that was going on in her
Yes.
cosplays.
Yes, it was terrible.
Yeah, and I saw
I
all
spoke
those.
out about it. It was absolutely disgusting. People, I mean, and she was just beautiful and she was, cosplay has no color, right? I mean, that should be our theme anyway. Um, it's so sad. This poor girl was driven, yeah, to take her own life from bullying. Bullying, hers was particularly related to color, which is even more disgusting. But you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
place for mental health in our fields.
yeah. And lately they kept saying like, because I've been seeing a lot of other like anime news guy. I'm friends with him.
Mhm.
He follows me on Instagram. We're friends too.
Mhm.
Brandon Bill. He was actually at MegaCon Orlando. I told him have fun. I couldn't make it, money wise, but he
Mhm.
was he was also talking. We were also talking about how because it was him. Then it was Tony Weaver Jr. He's
Mhm.
well known too. I met him at Anime Week in Atlanta. Very amazing guy. He was talking about anime is kind of getting political now, and it is
Yeah.
because Leighton, you got a lot of people who are saying like, "Oh, you can't be this character," whatnot. I actually held like
Yeah.
a few. I held a few panels in Black History Month last month to
Nice.
talk about this sort of thing,
That's great.
and
That's good.
we need to spread more awareness. I think the more
We
we talk
do.
about it, talking about it is one thing, but how can we try to like make a difference? Like I can only do so much here, try
Yeah.
to talk it out. I haven't
Yeah.
figured out the next part yet, but it's a work in progress.
I think that is so important. As a person of color, you are the person who needs to be talking about it because a person not of color can be talking about it. It is not going to make the impact, right? It is
Mhm.
not going to make the same impact as it is from you. So thank you for doing that
Okay,
work because I think
no
that's
problem.
really important.
I try my best to come up with some ideas for this thing, but it's
Mhm.
as long as I just stay productive, it works. But yes,
Mhm.
if sorry for diversion away from
No,
you,
that's
but
fine.
yeah, all that stuff you're doing, mental health awareness, like being free to do your own thing without any restrictions. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, next one you're gonna like this one because it's about Chicago. Now,
Yay.
moving to Chicago at 16 is a bold step. Now, what did that experience teach you about independence and identity as an artist?
Oh, well, I knew that in order for me to grow as an artist, as an actor, singer, dancer, that being in Michigan, and I had already done every theater there was in an hour radius. I had outgrown, in a way, everything, and going to an arts high school in Chicago was going to make me better. And I was going to have access to all these theaters, Steppenwolf, the Goodman, all these training grounds, the Piven Theater Workshop, which I trained at, which is incredible. Uh, I knew in my little brain, I'm going to get the best training by the best people because I'm moving to a bigger city. So it was a huge part of my growth. And then my identity did change because I was, coming from, I was a little bit of like a hippie, at that time I was 16. I was kind of like a hippie girl. And I got there and I was like, wow, I kind of like maybe want to be this way, or I kind of think I want to be this way. You play with your identity as a teenager. Sometimes you're a goth girl, sometimes you're preppy, right? Sometimes you're an athlete. All these I'm putting quotes around them because they're stupid names, but I became more studious. I started caring about these plays I was reading. I was ADHD and had a hard time with school, so I wasn't a good student. So I knew I wasn't going to get A's, which was hard for my identity because I was like, well, okay, I'm not going to get A's. That's not part of my identity. I will do well at the work. I will do well in my scene classes. I will do well in my singing. But the A's, I'm not going to see that on my report card. And that was hard. It was hard for my self-esteem, but I knew that I could do good work and that was good enough for me.
Yeah, same thing with me. I wasn't doing well in school, but I still managed to get to where I am today. I did the best I could.
That's right. It's hard. I tell young people now, like, I barely graduated high school. I think I had a 2.5, 2.4. And, trying to get into university, they were like, are you kidding? Like, girl, no. Like, it was really hard. But I said, but look at my work. Look at the work and judge that and then help me with the rest. And that's what NYU did. They took a chance. They said, we think you're smart in there. We don't know where it is, but the work you're doing is really excellent. So we're going to take a chance. And that's what they did.
Of course, always, just, like, and I always say that sometimes school is not for everybody. Listen, I know I had to go to college and I had to do something. So I made that decision to go to college.
Yeah.
Go to college.
Same. I mean, nobody in my whole family went. I mean, I had to go there. It was like survival for my family. I mean, if I didn't go to college, I wouldn't be where I am right now because I wouldn't have had the college to then go to grad school. It would have literally been like a sinking family ship. I'm like, I'm glad I went.
And I realized, because I graduated with a bachelor's in media production and journalism, which is why I'm doing this. I realized at some point, even though the media is limited, and plus with everything that's going on in our country right now, the world's on fire.
Yes, it is.
So with everything that's going on, it's like, I decided to go back to school and do something extra. Hence is why I went back and went to Savannah Tech. I'm based in Savannah, Georgia. That's where I am.
Yeah.
I went to Savannah Tech. That's right there on like Eisenhower and everything. And I got my cybersecurity certificates and everything. Because I need to have something to fund the foundation you're doing. And I have some sort of income coming in. And this goes back to what I said earlier before you came on. Not all you guys just do voice acting. I've seen so many guys do singing, audio, engineering. Y'all have other careers.
Yes.
It's like if a new role comes up or something, it's like, okay, nothing's available at this time. What can we do in the meantime?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be able to support yourself by doing lots of talented things, whether it's teaching or writing or like your security, like that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I've been doing more research on the situation because I don't know and I just talked to Jason about this. I told him like, some of you guys companies up in California and Texas, y'all have cybersecurity for all those productions. Because I told him about an article that I read back in 2022 when they were doing Dragon Ball Superhero. There was a network intrusion at Toei Animation in Japan. So I think people were just trying to get the movie leaked out and everything. So, so I think those companies need people who can like manage the security in those places. Because trust me, there's a lot of hackers out here.
Oh, I know there are.
And bots and trolls and everything. Like you have no idea. Like I had to deal with a scammer once. He was asking like, hey, do you have my name and all that stuff? Well, I was asking, do you have my name? Guess what? I gave him a fake name. I said it should be Jason Voorhees.
I love that. Jason Voorhees, that's great.
They actually fell for that, and they was like, "Oh, yeah."
Okay, so they're not American then, because
they're
Indian. Anyone
Indian.
American knows who Jason. I mean, I hope everybody knows who Jason Voorhees is. That's great.
Yeah, he was. I was like, okay, so Jason Voorhees was a serial killer.
Yeah. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, he was. I was like, do you want? He was telling me like, do you want to play the game? And I said, please don't waste my time. I was like, you wasting my time with your goddamn scam. And I was like, no. Well, Wells Fargo does not make personal calls.
No, exactly. Good for you.
And so he knew I was on to him, so he hanged up the phone. But what he didn't know is that I was recording him while he was speaking. And so I gave him the business. I think everybody liked that post. I think it was like 3 years ago, but yeah.
That's
Like I
funny.
said, just be warned that if you try to scam me, just know I'll be ready.
That's
So,
cute.
but yeah, all the stuff that you're doing, like you're a therapist now. I think that's great. I mean, you have it. Listen, I see some of your YouTube stuff. I was like, she did this. Let's see what she's all about, right quick. I was like, I
Mhm.
like those videos.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
I was starting them up and then, went back to work full time, which is great. And so I had to pull back on them a little, even though I love doing them.
mm,
So I had a pause on my YouTube. But I like topics. I like hot topics and being able to not just gossip about them because that's not at all interesting, but to be able to take something that everybody's gossiping about like The Bachelorette and say, hold on, okay, this is serious, and this woman probably has a major, disorder, and we need to talk about maybe helping her out with that, and then they're gonna cancel The Bachelor, like go into it, but say, hey, there's something else happening, and we have to have some compassion and look beneath, So
it,
that's why I like doing the videos.
that's amazing. Well, shoot, my only regret is I forgot to subscribe. I'm sorry.
What? Do not worry. I don't even pay attention to that. I love when I
Okay.
have subscribers, but I just like people to see them and comment, and that makes me happy.
All right, all right. Well, I'll make sure to check them out again because I only saw
Yeah.
one of them. There's more over there. Next one is about New York University Tisch School of Arts. Now,
Yes.
at New York University Tisch School of Arts, you trained in multiple disciplines. Now, what part of that training still shapes your performances today?
Oh, everything really. I guess one of the biggest things is they teach you when you're reading a script and you're playing your character that you have to be on their side. So even if they're doing something terrible, you can't judge them. Like I'd be like, "Oh my God, this girl murdered people. Like she's a horrible person." But you can't think that. Because if you
Right.
think that, you can't play her well. You can't play her with love and compassion. You got to find out the positive about her, even if she looks crazy. And I think that stuck with me like, oh my gosh, what if I play someone who's utterly evil? Like, shit, how am I going to find the good? Yeah. So if I'm playing in a video game, like an absolute, hideous knife wielding lunatic, whatever it is, I've got to find something in her, some backstory, something. And so I'm able to do that. So I think that was something really big from college that I learned.
Okay, sweet. Hey, take the lessons you learned from college. Okay, it helps. Listen, I also do photography. But I
Hmm,
took a break from it because I had a little incident last year in 2025 falling out. I'll explain that later. But
hmm.
I had to put that back on the shelf. So I had to go back to my college playbook and figure out what else can I do? What
Okay.
else have I done? So I just thought, hey, I have interviewed people and I've done 3 documentaries.
That's
So
right.
I was like, well, shoot, let's start podcasting and see how that works.
Fantastic. I love
So
it.
it's been going great so far. So I'm just liking all the responses people are saying, and it's like I can keep going as long as I can.
Good.
So just thing is sometimes I just want to make sure I maintain peace as well.
Well, yeah. Yeah, as a therapist, I want that too. I want myself, you, like, we all have to get balance, right? So
Mhm.
you need to keep that because us actors and us performers, we're always going to be here and we're not going to go away. So if you need a break or you need to take some extra time, you should do that. You
Exactly.
should do that.
Sometimes I go to places where I just like listen. Every Sunday I go out running.
Hmm.
I've been going to the gym working out since January. I'm just trying to lose weight. I actually had a doctor's checkup
Great.
this morning. I had a doctor's appointment this morning. So they
Hmm.
said
Good.
everything is good. Everything's good. Just need to keep it going.
Good for
From these
you. That's
from these
wonderful. Self-care is like epic. You got to do it.
so but yeah, I usually go to Triplet Park. I like going to these parks just to get away from stuff. And sometimes I don't know if you're familiar with Georgia, but there's also this place called Tybee Island. It's a beach.
I
So
do. My good friend is going there next week, and I'm so jealous. She's going for spring break.
really, I was gonna go there
Yes,
next week.
she's going with her family, and I'm like, I am very jealous. So she's going to Tybee Island next week. and I'm filling in for her while she's gone at work.
Oh man! Well, shoot, if I run into her at Tybee Island, you'll have to. You have
I
to.
can't tell you her name because I gotta respect her privacy. But when
Yeah,
she told me she was going, I was like, oh my God, I always wanted to go there. It sounds beautiful. So I hope she has great weather and that it's really beautiful for her.
okay, but yeah, I had plans to go because I haven't been to Tybee Island in like a while. So I was like, I want to go back there again, see what's going on. So, yeah, I'm missing out. Plus, it's beautiful out there too. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Now, you perform Shakespeare and experimental theater. How did those experiences influence the way you approach emotionally complex characters?
Well, Shakespeare's my favorite writer.
Mm-hmm.
I became really interested as a young person, like 13 and 14. I became really obsessed with Shakespeare. I just love the text. I love how it either the rhyming parts or the parts that weren't, the prose. I loved it. I just wanted to study it. So when I moved from Michigan to Chicago at 16, that's what I wanted to really do. And all of the emotion is in those words. So it's really heightened and it's easier to act than a lot of other stuff because it's all in the words. So that's why I love Shakespeare, and that helps me just be a better actor. Experimental theater is a whole other beast. I haven't really done a lot since college because that's not my track. That's not the track I chose to go down. Even though I think it's amazing and I like to go see it. Experimental theater, I'm trying to think even the last time I saw something. I can't really even think. It wouldn't be where I live, which is the Midwest. I mean, most of it's going to be, well, it could be in Chicago, but most of it's going to be in New York. I don't live there. I don't see a lot of it. But I think it's amazing. It's innovative. It's alternative. It's going to make you think, right? It could be done with no sound. It could be done in whiteface. It could be, I mean, it could just make you, it should be jarring or at least be like, what is happening? It's experimental. So when I did it, it was in a summer in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And it was incredible. And I got like a crash course in experimental theater. And that was all I needed. I was like, this is wonderful. I'm glad I learned it. I'm not going to make a whole career out of it, but I learned a lot. And it takes all of your disciplines. So your whole body, it's very body focused. You're using movement and instinct, and you might sing and you might dance and you might use your voice. And I loved that. So I think they all serve me. They all serve you as a voice actor because you're improvising sometimes. You might have a line, but like I had something recently where I had to play an owl, but who has words. And like you're going to improvise a little and you have to picture yourself as that owl. Well, that's crazy. I mean, that's a little experimental, right? So that kind of training absolutely helps a person be able to do that.
Yeah. It helps, don't it? And yeah, and I mentioned, and I've seen so much. Like, listen, I used to do like in middle school. I used to do some like Shakespeare projects, like Hamlet or something.
Yeah.
I was trying to like, I don't know. I did a report about it. I actually enjoyed the movie when I first watched it. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to like, well, one, I am trying to read more these days so I can get more information. Because I know lately with me doing this, I was like, I need to read more. My mom. Now listen, I didn't like to read back then, but I also had to understand there's a lot of history going around, and there's a lot of like stuff you may see in comic books that you might be missing out, even though you're just reading pictures off of it. But there's probably context clues you might have missed.
Definitely.
So yeah, and lately, Cricket, I've been watching all these shows, and I'm just lately. I think is I'm not like just watching it for fun now. Now I'm just paying attention, looking for like context behind this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So because there's really are some heartbreaking and important stories going on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And listen, and I've been saying this to other VAs. I apologize if I'm late to the party. Like back in high school, I was mostly in for entertainment. But now these days, I'm starting to pay attention to all these shows now.
Yeah,
Still,
that's fine. I think that's normal for the age and stage of development. Like, I don't think people are tuning in for like hardcore storylines when they're young. I mean, they might, but I don't think that's the norm.
well, I was still developing, and I said a few examples to another person when I was watching like stuff like Batman the animated series. By the way, that's how my whole blood for pop culture started, with Batman the animated series. Watching Superman. Listen, I was a kid when I was watching those shows, but I did. Now that I'm 25 now, about to be 26 this year.
Right.
So I've been paying attention to like all the content, because when I watch some of those shows, okay, can I give you an example? Let's take Justice League Unlimited. I was watching the Cadmus arc, where it's like Cadmus is right to be afraid of the Justice League. Like, he was saying Batman was predicting stuff like happening when they had that episode called A Better World with the Justice Lords, and the Justice Lords just killed anyone who don't agree with them and all that stuff. And he was saying, what's to stop you from doing what that Superman did? Cadmus is right to be afraid of us. The rest of the world wouldn't stand a chance. He's not wrong. He's like, the Justice League wants to do the right thing, but there's still the risk. Like, if you pay attention with Superman, the anime series, Superman was brainwashed by Darkseid. So they have a right. I mean, they have a right to be afraid of them, but I was also thinking but how do we deal with it that matters? We can't, just try to take them out. And so he's just, I think throughout that arc, Superman was just upset that people were scared of him, but he was just trying to protect them after everything that happened with Darkseid back in Superman the animated series. He was trying his best to redeem himself, but still the world is on edge because they got their watchtower with that weapon. From a human perspective, that's like the beginning of a regime.
Well, you know far more than me.
Like I said, I've been trying to pay attention. And so far I haven't. I've been doing research on these certain things.
I think you got it.
So after that situation, they had to build an embassy, because Green Arrow gave that speech and said the world needs the Justice League, the Justice League needs you, Superman. So everyone was clapping because he finally got back the trust after what happened with Darkseid. So that's why he was saying maybe we can build an embassy on Earth so we can be closer to the people. Basically, that's his way of saying we're not above you, we're with you.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, now I'm really starting to pay attention to these things. Like I said, high school, I was all for entertainment, but until I actually sit down and have these kind of real life questions and conversations, it makes it even better.
All right, good. I'm happy. I don't know as much about it as you, but there are shows, I'm my jams are like murder and documentaries and so it's not anime, but I mean, of course I'm an actor, so I do it, but it's not what I watch mostly. So, but I get it though. Yeah.
I tell people, hey, I enjoy knowing things. Is that a crime?
No, it's not.
That's what I'd be telling people. So, well, now that we're done with section, let's see. Now that we're done with section 1, let's go on to section 2, the actor's craft. So, now you've worked across theater, film, and voice acting. What's something about voice acting that people completely underestimate?
About voice acting?
Yeah.
I think timing. I think that sometimes they'll say, can you cut 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds off that? And you have to do it. Like, I don't think people maybe understand that you could you could do a 6-line, monologue or narrative, and they'll say, can you cut 4 seconds off that? And you have to be able to know exactly where to do that. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, you have to know. You have to be looking at it. You have to know where to take your breath. I think people don't know that. I don't think they think about that. I think they're like, well, can't they just take the seconds out? I mean, maybe, but no, because then it's going to sound funky if they try to take the air out, because I'm going to take a breath here. So it's really technical. I think sometimes. And I think people don't know that, or they underestimate that. They think, well, you just get up and like if they like your voice, you just sound great and you just do the line. No. Nope, there is that. There's the performance, but there's a lot of weird technical stuff that people underestimate.
Yeah, that's true. Because I had a conversation with somebody about this. Whatever stuff you're doing, whether it's like the voice acting, like being an artist or fashion designer, like it may look easy to you at first,
Yeah,
but to us, it's not that easy. It takes like a lot of hard work and dedication to it.
it does. And when we're like, I send my auditions out, so I do it from my home. I get it into my program. I am cutting it, I'm editing it myself, and I'm splicing it. It's very, very, very difficult. I have to splice it. I'm like, oh, I like that take. So I do a couple takes. I take a couple breaths in the booth. I cut that breath and I have to splice that next one right on top of it. And I do that. And it might take me 40 minutes to send in something that's 50 seconds.
Right.
It's a lot of work. And that's just an audition. They may see hundreds of people, but I am like, well, I want mine to be great. I want to do my best. So my 40 seconds or my 50 seconds that might have taken me 30 minutes or 20 minutes from top to bottom, right? From going in the booth, recording it, coming back, editing it, getting rid of all the sounds, right? Because there's all these clickety clack. I make these weird, like, in between sounds that I hate. And I'm like, ugh, I have to get rid of that. To sound, making it sound clean, making it sound like me, and making it sound natural, right? Though I have to do all that. That's a lot of stuff. And some people aren't good at that part. We didn't used to have that part. We used to go in our agent's office, record, and they would do all that. But now that we record from home, we are the editors. So it's a lot more technical work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do, and like I guarantee y'all have to spend like a lot of hours figuring out how we're gonna make this work. Like, I'll tell you one thing, Cricket. Sometimes I just stay up late until like 2 a.m. trying to get stuff together for something.
I bet you do.
It's brutal. Like, next morning, I'm like, now one of those nights I was getting ready to nod off. I was like this, trying to concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of dedication. Imagine how many hours you have to work at home doing the stuff, and then you have to get on set. It's painful, but effective. But still, the pros and cons are still there.
Yes.
So, but I think you've gotten used to the pros and cons.
I've gotten used to them.
So, next one. Training with the groundlings. Focuses heavily on character work. Now, how did that experience unlock your creativity?
Oh, I love the groundlings. I wish that I had continued there, but financially it was expensive, but also just time consuming. But I went through, I think I stopped at the 3rd level. So you go up and train, you get through certain levels. And I wish I'd just continued and gone through and tried to reach the SNL, right? Tried to go through so far that I could be considered for an audition for SNL, because I think that's where my heart lied. That's where I think I would have thrived, because I was one of those people that could just create character after character after character. I could they had this thing called character through the door. And so you would just go through a fake door and one after the other and just create characters. And I just never stopped. I could just do 20. I could just come up with different wacky characters. I mean, it just was my weird talent. It's the stupidest thing, but that was my weird talent. And I thought to myself, oh my God. And I went home and I thought, I think I'm supposed to write a play. And that's what led to my first play. And so I got off track because I was like, well, I think I'm supposed to write this play. And I got excited. And so I started writing a play and putting my money toward that as opposed to staying at the groundlings. Now, I'm not a person who has regrets, but I do a lot sometimes think, oh man, if I had just stayed the course, stayed in classes, what could have maybe, occurred on that track. Instead, typical cricket, I got so excited with this new idea. Oh my God, I'm going to write a play, which it's amazing. I mean, to create something from nothing is an incredible feat. And I have no regrets. And I, wrote a one-woman show, and it's wonderful. But I do sometimes think, oh, I wish I could have stayed and really gone as far as I could go with the Groundlings. But it's an incredible training ground. I would tell any actor out there to go through improv training.
Yeah. And also sometimes as we gotta stop focusing on what we didn't do and focus on what we can do now.
Got that right.
And listen, life is not I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Life is not just about remembering the good stuff, but it's also remembering about the bad stuff too. It makes us who we are. Like, I've been through so many trials in my life where I experienced bad things happen to me, but I still persevere and I'm still here today.
Yes, good point.
So it still works. But yeah, the Groundlings was a good piece of work that I saw. So it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. Hey, listen, I want to make sure I watch the whole thing before I make sure I say, hey, this is good. I want to make sure I watch the whole thing. Okay. I don't want to give you false hope like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's rude of me. I'd be ashamed of myself. I'd be ashamed of myself. So next up, now writing and performing your own shows. Now, what did creating your own stories teach you about vulnerability as an artist?
Oh my God. It's the most terrifying thing in the world to write your own thing and then to go in front of people and be like, here's my deepest, heart here. I'm just going to say here, I've never written anything in my life. And here you go. Let's all pay for tickets and then let's review it. And then you guys tell me what you think. I mean, it's utterly terrifying. There is no more vulnerable thing. And, you just gotta go for you just pull the trigger. You're like, I believe in this. I spent a year and a half, I spent whatever it was, a year and a half writing, and then I produced it myself. I raised the money myself. I spent money on every prop on eBay myself. I did it all myself. I had a friend of mine who's brilliant from NYU direct it. I had another dear friend from Seattle, directed again. I did it twice. So I had 2 mountings of it in LA and did it in the Fringe Fest there. I mean, it just feels like incredible to have done it, but it's really vulnerable. I mean, you're like naked. You're like, oh my God, what if people hate it? What if people hate it? And I think one review was not great and one was good. And that's all I could ask for. I was like, that's good. I don't need anything more than that. Like it was about me writing these characters that are underdogs in society. I wanted to write about people who nobody cares about. And funny enough, I became a social worker. That is like, that's like, duh, because that's what social workers are. We represent and advocate people who are forgotten. We give therapy and we give advocacy to people who nobody else is thinking about. So it's really no shock that occurred later, but I didn't know that at the time, that I was going to be doing that. I was in my 20s, early 30s writing.
Yeah.
I was writing it when I was on Avatar. That was around the same time.
Really? Yeah, I got you. So basically that shows like with all underdogs, basically like social workers kind of stuff and everything. So I was like, like if people don't like it, to watch it. Like come on.
Yep.
And there was some. Let me tell you one thing, and this happened earlier this month. I think I watched a little bit of the Oscars. I watched the Oscars.
I watched it too.
And I think you're familiar with the movie Sinners. It came out last year.
Oh yeah,
I watched it like 5 times. It's really good. I
loved it. I thought it was my favorite movie of the year.
Vampires and all that stuff. And of course, Michael B. Jordan got his Oscar. I was like, thank you. Mm-hmm. But other thing too is you have all these people, who come on to like on Instagram. There was this one dude, I'm not gonna say his name because he's disgusting. But he was like saying like all that hooting and hollering. It was some white dude talking about this stuff. I was like, hey, bro, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Like, we don't want to hear your opinions.
Ew, no. What was he saying? That he shouldn't have been excited to win or something?
No, they was talking about the performance on the stage with the sinners, and he was
I'm
just saying
sorry.
it's
That's
all.
ridiculous. Oh, I'm sure if it was a bunch of white people, he would have been like, "Yay, good for them." That's disgusting. Yeah, gross.
I was like,
Go away.
he
Go away,
just
redneck.
he was
Bye.
just he was just doing it for attention.
Yeah, but I'm with you. First of all, that movie was so brilliant. My husband loves horror movies. Okay, I don't. He says, I'm gonna watch this horror movie, Sinners. And I was like, no, I don't want to watch a horror movie. He's like, come on, it's not really bloody. This is like a year ago. And I'm like, ugh. So we start watching it, and I'm like, first of all, I love whatever this is, I love it. And he's like, I hate it. There's no blood. And I'm like, shut up. It's so good. So I end up loving it. He likes it, but it's not a horror movie like he thought. And I'm like, this is my favorite movie of the year. I had no idea it would be up for Oscars. I mean, wow. Wow, wow, wow. And Michael B. Jordan, I mean, I can't. I was obsessed. And then when it came up for awards, I was like, thank you, America. Thank you for understanding. This movie was great. I know. So
Yeah,
that white guy is disgusting, or whoever it was, white or whatever he was. He's gross. And I'm with you. And we need to call this out. We need to call out color. We need to just talk about it. Like it's a thing. Why are we pretending it's not a thing? It's a thing.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of people out there who just they always got some kind of shit to say, and it's like, hey man,
just tune it out. Yeah, change the channel, dude. Change
the
channel. Yeah,
exactly. He just wanted attention. Well, we got it. He got it because a lot of people, a lot of others are content creators like myself. They blew his ass up.
Good.
Yeah. I'm gonna be. Hold on. Let's blow your ass up right here.
Good.
So, but yes, all that stuff, right? As long as your art is perfect, that's all that matters. Who cares what anyone else's things? Like, have you seen? Because there was sorry, I'm venting here. I'm trying to get my frustrations out. I'm sorry. Trying to get that all out. Sorry if you see me upset here. There was something that I saw with saying there's been so many people who've been attacking like a lot of black actors over like these movies the last few years. It was Halle Bailey, The Little Mermaid. Then it was Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
Yeah,
and I was like, y'all,
it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's like you guys also have to understand. What white people need to understand is that the world has been white by default. Okay? That is the issue. So now when we put anyone of any color in, they're like, what? I don't know. This isn't cool. It's like, yeah, it's not cool because your default color, and that's what's wrong, dumb asses. Get it? So if all colors were default, it wouldn't matter who plays her. It wouldn't matter if we had an Asian mermaid. It wouldn't matter at all because we'd all be default, but we're not. It's so asinine. It makes me bonkers. I can't take it. I know. I don't get it.
And then when they did the One Piece season 2, I think Zeno Robinson, he's a voice actor too.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, when they did now they attacked the actor who played Vivi from One Piece. Again, like, hey, y'all dunces. If y'all don't like it, don't watch it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's too bad.
And again, I know, like I said, they just doing it for attention. So just saying, but hey, we're gonna keep doing what we like doing, okay? Y'all
we're gonna stay hopeful and we're gonna stay productive. That's what we're gonna do.
It's exactly. Next one. Now, when building a character, do you start with voice, the emotion, or the psychology? And how do those layers come together?
Okay, so if I'm writing it or if someone else wrote it?
If you're doing it.
Okay, so if I'm writing a character, I definitely start with the psychology. So I'm writing it, and I don't know if you're going to get to this, but I'm in the middle of a play right now. So that I've written, and I got a grant from my city, and I'm about to start fundraising to match the grant, and it's about a school shooting, and I'm playing all the parts. It's a one-person show, And when I sat down to write this, I did tons of research. So I read every book about school shooters. I read every book about parents of a school shooter. So I did tons of research. And then when I sat down to type the first line, it was about the psychology of the people. It was who do I want to hear from in this town? Oh, I want to hear from like that cuckoo teacher who's like 60 and she just loves all the students and she kind of sounds like this and she just loves them all. She just loves all of them. You know, she sounds like this because she just loves all these kids. So I'm not talking out loud like I am to you, but I'm thinking her voice. And now I'm thinking, how does she feel? Well, she just loves all these kids. And so I just start to type what she's saying to the audience. So it's psychology. I'm thinking of her voice. I don't do it out loud because I might be in a coffee shop or I might be at home or, you know, wherever I'm writing. And then what was the third component? You said voice, psychology, or
emotion.
Emotion's going to come through what I'm writing, right? So, you know, there's a line in the play that says, I thought he was fine, the kid. The dad, one of the dads that ends up passing away. She says, I thought he was fine. But who's fine? You know, I could be fine, but what if I jumped off the third floor of the mall and landed next to Skechers?
Whoa.
Right? Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but there's emotion in there. But she's also a little kooky, you know, but she's trying to be loving. It's like, it's all in there. It's all in the words, just like Shakespeare. It's all in the words. I shouldn't have to do too much. I shouldn't have to be all emotional. I shouldn't have to, it should all be in the words. Everything should, the clues are in the text. That's how I was taught at NYU. That's how I want to write. That's how I want to be. So good writing is the way to go. When you have bad writing, you know how hard it is to be a good actor because you're like, I don't know what the hell, what do I do with this? Because it's bad. So that's how I write. And then I was given some good tips to read it out loud once it's kind of written, and I did that. So I did use some of the voice, but when I start, it's psychology first.
Yeah, psychology first, and then it's the voice second. I like that
Yeah,
mindset
voice.
first because you want to get inside the character's head and understand what they're going through before you start. Listen, I've been saying this to everybody, like, you know, sometimes we do research and understand this because listen, every character that you do, and I've seen some of these shows, they've gone through some kind of past tragedy or something that really affected their life in the beginning.
Every person. Nobody comes out of life unscathed. If they have, they're not interesting and don't write about them.
Exactly. Like, you know, I've seen so many origin stories and like you know, My Hero Academia. There's been so many origin stories of each of these characters. Where, you know, like Izuku, All Might, all those they all had origin stories. And I was like, I'd actually like those because I want to see what happened that made them into the person they are today.
Yes, exactly.
So I just hope I can keep seeing more stories like that. You know, just one. The thing is, you know, navigating through like Hulu, Crunchyroll, and it's kind of hard to find shows to start watching and find origin stories because you have to watch through each episode carefully.
Yeah, good point.
So I'm going to keep doing it. I'll do the best I can. So, section 3 is breakthrough and insight. Breakthrough and industry insight. There's only 3 questions, and then we're going to go into section 4. Section 4 is going to be a deep dive with your character May. Okay. So let's get through section 3. Now, looking back, what moment in your career made everything feel real for you?
I don't know what I guess I don't know what that means because I mean, everything always feels real. I mean, it always felt real. I guess when you first get paid, maybe, but even that, you know that you still always got to be looking for work. It's never real. It never feels real because you always got to keep looking. You always got to keep hustling. You always got to, you know, it's not like I made $1 million, you know, or I can retire. You know, that might feel real. For me, I'm like a character actor, so I'm always going to keep hustling. I'm going to keep writing. I'm going to keep you know, what I will say is doing Comic-Cons feels real because the people are so touched and so moved by something you did that it's like, wow, that feels very like moving to me. And then I feel like, wow, this I had a real impact on people. So maybe that.
Hey, if the show has made an impact on them, that's matters.
Yeah.
Because I like how when I go to convention, I tell people, hey, I saw your show, I actually liked it. It's really great. So just you want to have those moments. If the fans feel satisfied, you want to have those nice comments come back to you.
Exactly.
Next one. Now, you've worked in so many areas of entertainment. Now, how do you stay grounded and creatively fulfilled in such an
Mm.
unpredictable industry?
That's a good question. I laugh a lot. I'm a huge humor person. I try to keep things light. I have God in my life. That's something that, is not for everybody, but feels good to me. So I sing, I pray. I love my dogs. They're jumping on me right now. Look, I love my pups and I cuddle with them. I love my family. Um, I have great group of friends. I have friends all over Chicago, LA, New York, and in between. And they just help me stay grounded. Um, and and I like that I can do mental health and be creative. So I'm using all parts of my brain. That also helps me stay balanced creatively because then I can be like, oh, well, now I'm going to go into a psych hospital and work with these people. And then I get to leave there and then I get to work on this play. Like, that's amazing. Like, the blessings I have are unbelievable.
Keep those. It's going to help you move in the long run. It
Thank you.
will. So, let's see. Last question. Then we'll be in section 4. Now, meeting fans at conventions across the country what has that connection taught you about the impact of your work?
I mean, I don't have enough words. I have been absolutely, I mean, I usually leave crying. I cry at least once every Comic-Con. The people are unbelievable. They are lineage, there's grandpas, there's parents, grandkids, sometimes 3 generations that have watched Avatar. I can't believe it. Some of them come there and they're like, "Oh, I'm not here for Avatar. I'm here for that video game you did." I'm like, "Are you kidding?" They have the picture and they're like, "Will you sign this?" And I'm like, "I just love you. I love that you care enough about this video game and this voice I did, It's just amazing. They have real care and interest in the voice industry and in us and us bringing a story from a page to life. It I don't have enough words to thank them. I am extremely moved and blessed.
Well, hey, it's worth it, right? The hard work you put into it is worth it. And yes, the fans, the laughter connections, that's what those big events are for. You want to go there and make as many connections as possible, tell everyone what you've done. And kids are
Mhm.
gonna like look up and be like, I really enjoyed that. Be like, I want to see more
Good.
again.
That's what I want. My bucket is so full when I leave. I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this. Like, are you kidding? This is the best thing ever.
It's true. Definitely. Well, now that we're done with that section, we're into section 4, deep dive May, and also some
Mm.
Avatar themes as well.
Okay. I'll do
Because
my
I
best.
sure. Because also when I was watching Avatar, I did spot a few themes, and I was like, maybe
Mm.
I need to run this by Cricket when I talk to her soon, because she might have a
Okay.
good idea.
Okay.
All right. So now number 12, when you first approach May in Avatar The Last Airbender, now what was your emotional entry point into her?
Oh. Okay, so when I get the breakdown, which is the thing they send you when you're auditioning, it said goth teenager. And I was like, okay, dark, brooding, you know. And I was like, uh, that's not me. I was like, I'm not gonna get this. This is really not me. But you go in, you do your best. And so I went in and they were like, okay, can you go a little more gothy, more, and I'm sure I was like, oh God, what? Like a teenager, more teenager. And they were like, less mouth, less, so I just did less. But I did so little. I was like, this is horribly boring. No one will book me. And I got it. And I thought, these people are crazy, but yay. Then I went into the studio, and our brilliant director, Andrea Romano, directed me to just do less, to just talk like this and leave it be. Just talk like this. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst thing ever. But I trusted her. And so my entry was to just deliver the line simply with not a lot of emotion. Almost like May doesn't fucking care what you think. Like, she was sort of like, here's what I'm telling you, and I don't need your permission. And that was my entry.
Wow, that was amazing. Yeah, because when I was watching that show when I was a kid, listen. So my sister was a huge fan of Avatar back in the day. They would watch it. We would be at my grandma's house, and we would
Aw,
watch it nonstop. Even my grandma liked the show as well.
she did. Oh, I love
Yes.
that, Grandma.
Yes.
That's cute.
So I understand it was kind of different because I know sometimes, we watch these shows and people are like, but I'm a happily, bubbly, goody two shoes person in real life.
Yeah.
But when you get inside the show, the roles are kind of reversed. Like,
Yeah.
the dark goth kind of thing.
Yeah.
I kind of understand that part. It's something that if they tell you gotta be this girl, you gotta
Yeah.
adapt. Like,
And
shoot.
I am a peppy person, but my humor is definitely dark and dirty-ish. Like, it's salty. So I was able to feel her. Like, it wasn't hard. It wasn't a stretch to be her. Vocally though, I am higher. You hear me when I talk to you, it's higher, it's more peppy, and I had to go down, and I had to get lower, and I had to just leave it be without anything at the end. Like, I want extra at the end. Had to cut all that off.
Mm, yeah, that's true. But it still worked. It still worked itself out, even though it's it's
It
not
did.
what you thought it was at first. But it
No,
still worked.
it worked, and I was really happy. And when you hear the finished product, it's like a band of instruments, and they all work.
Yeah, gotta make sure it's perfectly tuned.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So this one's gonna be a good one. Okay. Avatar is deeply rooted in the idea of balance,
Mhm.
emotionally and spiritually.
Mhm.
Now, do you think May represents a kind of emotional balance in a world full of extremes?
That's interesting. I mean, she appears to, because she's so calming, and they're teenagers, right? Which is so weird, because if you think of them as teenagers, she's weird because most teenagers are not that steady. They're not steady. That's the last thing teenagers are. They're very histrionic and all over the place. And oh my God, he doesn't love me. Why doesn't he love me? And she's nothing like that. So she does bring a calm energy in that way. And she's very steady, and she knows herself. She never falters. She never changes. She's not a flip-flopper. So I love that about her. And I do think, hey, stop. My dogs. I
Good.
do think she brings some calming energy, maybe spiritually too. She's royalty, she's used to being, to being seen, not heard, right? I do think she does that. But I don't know. I mean, look at someone like Azula. You've got all these people going crazy all around her.
Right.
And then she's that one teen, and she's calming, but she's also not afraid of a fight, though. She does challenge Azula, so I don't know how peaceful she is. I guess I don't know the answer to that, but she does try to, at least energetically, she's at a lower frequency. How about we say that?
Yeah, of course, of course. And some of these characters I've seen, it's pretty much like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
And that's always that same catchphrase. Every time you see a quiet character. Like there's always a quiet beginning, but then something huge happens later.
Yeah, that's true. I think people should have expected that.
Yeah, like we don't I don't want all the explodey fighty parts. Yeah. I mean, like let's try to
Yeah.
ease into it. Like, because I've seen so many, because I also seen a few movies. He's like, well, here's an example. Take Avengers Endgame, for example.
Yeah.
They had to get the Infinity Stones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the thing is, with the directors, like, the Russo brothers, they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to backseat the villain
Mm-hmm.
because that wasn't their focus.
Mm-hmm.
Their focus was to go back in time, get the stones, and bring their friends
Mm-hmm.
back.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes same things with the characters in Avatar. Like they're having like these kind of like important conversations and like the coming conflict. As with Aang and the others, because the Fire Nation, they do fight Aang and the others too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like they have to have like important conversations about what to expect, what we represent, because each of the nations in the show, they represent not just the elements, but they represent their culture as well.
Yeah, that's true. They are culture clashing. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And she is fire, which isn't calming, but she does bring an element of calm to that group.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, to be honest with me, I think that's really powerful. Maybe not saying much, sometimes silence is a power too.
Yeah,
Like,
I think you're
silence
right.
is, sometimes the best response is no response.
Yes. Yes. I think that's very much her. She could just give a look and that would be her power.
Yes, definitely. If we're someone, I do be on, if she doesn't speak much, you can always read her body language to see what she's thinking.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Or see the daggers.
And that too. Next up, May is often seen as emotionally reserved.
Mm-hmm.
However, though, the show explores emotional repression versus expression. Now, how did you bring depth to a character who says so little yet feels so much?
I think that's in the performance. That is while you're saying it. So, let me think of a line that has something in it, even the big one, you miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you. So there's a million ways you can say it, but if you're acting it, you miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you. You could say it flat and still have emotion or still have something in it, especially when you don't see a human face and you're really hearing it. I think you can hear a lot, hopefully. That's the hope, right? That's what we're back there doing and hoping that you guys can hear that we're giving something that's not just a line. That we're acting it. We're picturing ourselves on that battlefield with Azula, and my director is directing me. Okay, can you do a little more of this? Don't forget, you're fighting for your love, right? They're directing us, they're coaching us. So they're reminding us of our circumstances. And that's what acting is.
Wow. That's a lot to take in. I know it's because I know the show also has a lot of love themes going around. Everybody's fighting, and and these shows teach us why there's so much of these characters going through like all these like different situations where at least like our real world situations as well. And you have to and that's what I like most about these shows. They do teach us a lot of lessons, especially with like stuff like like Pixar movies. I've been watching a lot of Pixar stuff. I need to catch up on my Pixar movie. The last one I stopped at was, I think it was Lightyear. I didn't get to Elemental at all. I'm far behind. But
you
but
got
I haven't,
a lot happening.
Yeah, stuff like Pixar, watching all those real life situations, there was a lot that I learned from watching Cars. And listen, Cars is still my movie since I was a kid. It will never leave me. Okay.
Oh, I love it.
thing is, I watched this so many times. I watched it like 25 times when I was a kid. But as an adult, I
Ah.
start to really pay attention to like, oh, so this is what's going on
Mhm.
in the story. Like Lightning McQueen was focused on trying to he's focused on winning all the time. Like he had to like get rid of everybody, fire his like crew chief and everything because winning was
Mhm.
everything to him. But when he gets stuck in Radiator Springs, he starts to slow down and understand the lifestyles of what these guys had to go through. You know, especially as Doc Hudson, he was the famous Hudson Hornet once. And he was saying, like, you know, I already tried that before. He like to figure out who he was by the time he went to
Mhm.
that shack. And he was saying like, hey, you know, look at those trophies. You won the championship so many times. And then Dark says something really that was really like you know, it was a gut punch. He was saying, like, you look, all I see is a bunch of empty cups.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Mhm.
if it's not fulfilling, then he doesn't see the glory in it.
Mhm. Yep.
So,
Wow.
so pretty much Avatar, Pixar, all these guys are going through some kind of like challenges and problems they have to figure out on their own. That goes for everything you see on TV. It's not just there to be entertainment. You guys are telling like real life stories that are
Mhm.
going on.
Mhm.
So, if I said this correctly here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I hope you're right. I think that's why it has such an impact, you know.
Hey, I do my best to explain these break them down.
I love it.
So
You know, look, you are the expert, believe me.
I try. So let's see. Next up, now, yeah, here's another life lesson here. Now, the series contrasts love versus control. Especially through Azula and Zuko. Now, how did you approach May's role as someone who ultimately chooses love over fear?
That's easy. I mean, that's what I would do. I always choose love, and you have to because the fear response is fleeting. Love is forever.
Love is
So
forever.
that's I mean, if you love something, usually it's even if you get hurt, you still love that thing, that person, that whatever forever. And fear shouldn't stop you. So that was easy to connect to in the script and easy to play.
Yeah. And listen, you know, fear is a natural thing. It's with us until we die. And
Yeah,
you know,
it's
like
natural.
listen, Cricket. Like every day when I wake up, I do get scared. I am scared, believe it or not. But I still go out the door every day.
Yeah, I mean, I have anxiety. I go, what if, what if, what if? But that's just my brain. It's not a fact. Fear is a feeling and not a fact.
Of course, you know, and it's okay to be fear, but you know, like, but you listen. Despite the fear, you still go out and do what you have to do. And
Yeah,
I
it
think with
shouldn't get,
my
yeah.
and I think in my circumstance, like she knows that she's terrified, but she still chooses love in the end.
Hmm. Yeah, it's worth it to her.
Exactly. It definitely is worth it to her. Like I've seen so many scenes where she's like, she's really nice. She's a little terrified, but she's not as much. She's really trying to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So now, next one, this is going to be interesting. May's stand against Azula is one of her most defining moments.
Hmm.
Now, how did that scene reflect the theme of identity and choosing who you become?
I mean, I don't know if she thought about it. Like, I don't think she thought like this is gonna be who I am. You know, I think it's just I think she realized I'm gonna stand up for my friends, the group, not just Zuko, you know, and love, but that whole group, you know, I think she's like, this is who I am. I'm gonna stick by them. I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna go against evil. And even if I die trying, it's worth it. So I guess that makes her identity a certain thing, but I don't think she knew ahead. Like, you know, she's a teenager. I think she was impulsive. And she was just like, you're wrong. I'm not afraid of you. And even if I am, I still love him more. It's like, oops, did I just say that? I think that's more what happened, probably.
Mm. They were all fighting for his heart, like
Hmm.
you can't have him, I can't. It's a back and forth situation. Like they were, well, at least they were competing to
Yeah,
like to win the heart of a man, like
but Azula's completely out of her mind the entire show. I mean, she's not even like she really is not playing with a full deck, and there's reasons why, and they all make sense. But I think May and them are like, oh boy, this one she needs to be tamed. Like she's a crazy tiger, you know?
mm, yeah, sometimes she's letting out the beast inside her. The love
Yeah,
show her how much,
yeah.
and like they say the old saying, sometimes they say love is a battlefield, and it really is a
Amen.
battlefield.
That's right.
So we've seen it in May's case against Azure. So yeah, it really is a
Yep,
battlefield.
that's right.
So, but yeah, I need to watch those scenes again because I think those are really amazing scenes.
They are. Those are some of the best.
So, um, then lastly for this, fans connect deeply with May's quiet nature. Now, do you think her strength comes more from what she holds back or what she chooses to reveal?
Mm, that's great. I think what she holds back, probably. I think she's a little damaged by her family, and we all are, because that's what life is. We all get a little damaged and a little um off track because nobody's family is perfect and we aren't perfect parents. And so I think her family didn't do a perfect job, and they had her be very quiet, and they wanted her to be very gendered and be very female and be seen and not heard and be pretty and be whatever and be quiet, and that did something to her up here. And so she was like, oh, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, and I guess that's what I'm good for. Meanwhile, she realized inside she could probably run the country better than anyone, but she wasn't allowed to do it. So I think she had to hold a lot in, and I think some of that power comes from that.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't reveal all your tricks. They'll
No,
saying sometimes they'll saying a magician that never reveals his tricks.
that's right. Now I
Yeah.
hope my hope would be as she ages, as she matures, she starts to realize, okay, I can let some of this out. I can reveal some and I can express myself, but she's always going to be a person, I think, who holds stuff a little close to the vest. She's never going to be like Tylee, and that's okay.
Yeah, I understand. Like I said, she likes to go behind, like creep behind the shadows.
Yeah.
Kind of like Batman. She likes to work close to
Yeah.
the
They would be
shadows.
friends. I think they would be friends.
I can imagine already.
They
So
would get
but
they
yeah,
would get a cocktail once in a while.
yeah, and sometimes some of the best work is actually done in the shadows. Like, because I'll be honest, Cricket. I am an introvert. I am.
Hmm.
But I am doing work behind scenes, but I am trying to talk to more people these days to see
Good
what they
for
think.
you. That's good.
So,
Just to, work on those muscles. It's good.
so, but yeah, so, like my folks be telling me you need to get out. I know you're doing this, but you still need to get out the house and go meet people. So, so it's I'm gonna work on it.
Good. Good.
So we're getting close to the end, but before we continue, how have you enjoyed our conversation up to this point?
I have loved it. These are some of these questions I've never been asked. They're so interesting, so thoughtful.
Mhm.
And I just have had fun being able to kind of express myself, talk about some things I've never gotten to talk about.
Mhm.
And I really enjoy your interest, your curiosity, and your takes on all of your interests, not just Avatar. Like, I think it's so cool, your specific interests and your excitement is really contagious. So I've loved being on here. Thank you.
Yeah, hey, listen. Like I said, I'm trying to read more.
Look, you're doing way more than I have time for, so I love it. I think you're really, really cool. This has been so much fun, and I just really appreciate the time.
No problem, no problem. Well, let's get to the finale, then we can wrap this up. Okay, so section 5 is themes, legacy, and storytelling. Now, this is where I came up with the themes, and I thought you might be interested to know about it. Now, Avatar explores themes like war,
Mm-hmm.
identity, and redemption. Now, why do you think those messages still resonate with audiences today?
Well, war before we were even in one. I mean, now we're in one, so that's like terrifying. But I think it's so scary, because for most young people, that the concept seems really far away, and now we're in one. So it's like, oh my God, we're actually in a war. But I think most of the time it seemed really far away. And so watching a show about really young people in a war was probably really interesting and kind of cool. And they were kids. Like I bet that was kind of neat to watch. Like they're they're joining up forces in like this war. Like I bet that, I mean, because I was part of it, so I don't have good perspective. But I think war is always, always, always going to be something we all want to watch and want to understand. And because it's heartbreaking and people die, right? And people die for the things they're fighting for. Um, Identity, that's interesting too, especially when you think about LGBTQ plus, like those kind of identities, that's worth dying for to me as a social worker, as a person who's pro identity. It's worth fighting for and worth getting rights for. And I think that now more than ever, so many people are bullied and commit suicide based on identity, that it's a really important issue. Um, and I think, little kids in school are not able to learn about identity in certain states. Like it's just really scary. And, you know, I think that a show about that is going to impact people
It
um
is.
30 years later, right? 20 years later. And then redemption, oh, it's always going to feel good because we want that personally. Like I want to feel redemption in my own life and I don't get it all the time. So if I can watch a show about that, heck yeah, I'm going to be like, oh, that feels so good because I can't get that. Maybe,
Mm.
it's like watching about a family that maybe I didn't have that. Maybe I didn't have a great relationship with my dad. So if I can watch that, I'm like, oh, that feels good, that, or wow, that must be, what's that like, to have, or, anything like that mirrors something you didn't get or something you did. That feels really good. So I think those themes are probably why the show has such lasting impact.
It does, because I've been looking at the show more. Because thing is, I only watch like thing is, I'm trying to get back to actually watching Avatar too, because as a kid, I didn't pay attention to much what was going
Well, and
on. But
watch the Netflix live action, the newest one. It's good.
yeah,
People love it.
I was gonna do that as well. That's actually next to my watch list for
It's
April.
good. Yeah, it's good.
There's been yeah, like all those things with war redemption. I think it's more because, like I said, all these nations who have their different cultures, they're in this full blown war across the globe, and it's like
Mhm.
it's been like a never ending conflict
Yeah.
before Aang even showed up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess Aang, I guess Aang,
100-year war or something, right? Like, I don't know what it is.
and I think Aang became the beacon he needed to get everybody under
Mhm.
control. I don't know if it's like complicated to like other shows that I've seen. Um, what I'm trying to think, would the final war in My Hero Academia count? I'm not sure, because there's been like a few things that I've seen throughout the world, like overall was talking about finances and everything in that episode when they were trying to get Deku out in the middle of nowhere to try to take
Mhm.
one for all from him. And then you got like so many people fighting for ideals. Like, listen, when me and my dad watched season 6 of the show, like, one of the villains were saying, like, with the heroes and everything, like, you guys are not the only one fighting for a cause.
Mhm.
Well, he was right. They're actually trying to fight for, the control and see who runs the place. It's pretty much like this. See, Cricket, this is what I'm talking about. Like never ending conflict. If you see what I'm
No, and that's
going.
why. That's why all these shows, people will keep tuning in and keep loving them.
Mhm.
You're exactly right.
So I think it's best that we keep paying attention to these messages, because there's a lot in there that we need to be prepared for. If yeah, pretty much. Last question, then I saw your message. I'm gonna try to wrap it up here.
No, I just I want to make sure I don't know how many you have, so I want to make sure we can.
There was only two left.
I can answer all. Okay, good. I want to be able to answer all of them.
Okay, because I was gonna skip one.
Just depends on our time. Yeah, if we can do it, then I'll be able to.
Here we go. Now, as a storyteller across stage and screen, do you feel a responsibility to explore deeper themes like emotional truth, identity, or human connection?
As a storyteller across
stage and screen,
do I feel a deeper responsibility?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel a responsibility in all of it. Yes, especially as a writer, because if I'm writing something, I have a huge responsibility to make sure it's representative culturally. What we just talked about, identity wise, I have to it has to be diverse, it has to be it has to be all of those things. Because I want people seeing it to see themselves in it, right? Whatever that looks like. And so as a performer, I feel responsible, as much as I can. Now, if someone else wrote it, I'm doing my best with what they've written, and my performance can only go so far. But if I'm writing it, or if I have a hand in that, then I have way more control, right? As a writer, you got way more control on the content. But I feel a deep responsibility to what people see and how they take it in.
Of course, definitely. Like all these stuff, like you felt like, well, shoot, there's still more stories to tell out there. So I want to make sure I spend the next few months trying to come up with a good story that people will pay attention to.
Absolutely. I mean, the reason I'm writing about a school shooting, why? Who wants to see that? I don't want to write it. It woke me up day after day. I kept dreaming about it. I don't want to write this. This is so macabre. Who wants to write about that? But because it kept needling me, and I was like, oh my God, I have a responsibility. It's like it's getting me. And I think it's that I want people to see a story firsthand of a person talking about why they killed people. That I haven't seen that, and I want to see that. So if I have to show it, then that's what's going to have to happen. And there's hope in it. How am I going to do that? Well, that's what I'm working on, right? So I can't just show some dark thing and be like, here you go. Like, it has to also be like, but what do we do? What else? Do? Right.
Exactly. Then lastly, across all of your work from stage to voice center, what do you hope people feel after experiencing your performances?
Oh, I hope that they learned something. I hope they get to know me a little, like, oh, that's Cricket. Okay, I think I kind of get an idea of who that person is. I hope they're inspired in some way. That's it.
Inspiration is key. Just do the best you can. As we've been saying, just do the best we can, and hopefully they'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So, well, I think that wraps it up. I think we got through everything. I know you want to do the whole thing.
I'm so happy that we did, and I loved all your questions. I love the way you organized them. That's amazing that you were able to do it like that. That was just incredible. I really appreciate your detail and your questions. I hope I answered them well, and that people will find this interesting. And if people have therapy questions or things like that, they can always find me on Instagram at Cricket Leigh Talks. And it's that way because I talk as a voice actor and I talk as a therapist.
I like
so
it.
I talk a lot. But I loved being here and talking to you.
Yes, I appreciate it. And listen, like I said, I just try my best I want to crack the egg.
You did great. Thank you.